So, as of time of recording this, it is only a day away before Pokemon TCG Online sunsets, which means that the servers get shut down and it won't be available for purchase anywhere anymore. And now I have migrated to Pokemon TCG Live, which you might see a commentary on that, maybe. I'm still not sure about it, but anyways. But by the time you're probably watching this, the game would have already sunset. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention that. But anyway, now we have one of my more wackier decks. This is the V Power deck. And what this deck basically is not only a deck that only consists of Pokemon Vs, but there's only 6 of them. This is what I meant when I said it will make competitive players cringe. Mind you, this deck has surprisingly good synergy, considering it's more or less a joke deck. But, yeah. Now, I always love to start second with this deck because, well, A, I get to attack first, and B, I get to use the supporters, which are absolutely vital in this kind of deck. Now, as you see, I've started off with Sylveon V, which has an ability that lets you search the deck for a item card that you want. So of course I do that to get a Great Ball, so I can hopefully get more Pokemon Vs in play. The problem is that using this ability ends the turn, and now I essentially just can't do anything right now. So I gotta be careful when you use that, but yeah. Anyway, this is, I believe I am playing I'm playing in expanded format. Oh, you'll see a wide range of decks that will try and shut down mine with their own strange strategy, but anyway, this guy's got a Victini V right here, which I also have. It's got 2 attacks. One does 10 damage, unless it's against another Pokemon V, then it does 50 damage. And another attack does, I believe, 120, or it might be 180. But that attack discards all fire energy from this card, so yeah, not a good idea. And I think this guy also played a Pokemon V deck, as he's got a Cinderace V out here. Anyway, damn it, I took 60 damage because I believe that's no, that's not my weakness. No, I use Great Ball here, but no luck with any Pokemon, so I use Cook here to heal up my Sylveon so I can get my attack ready, and I pretty much just hit it with a Miracle Shot to do 60 damage, which isn't much, but then again, Victini's also a low HP Pokemon V, so it's way easier to KO than most. Now we got Greedent there, which can... Actually, I don't know what this one does. Attack that does 40, another attack that did 140. I couldn't read the text fast enough, unfortunately. And again, this deck also has the same problem with my Lightning Dark deck, where it can take forever to get going. And if you get stuck, you kind of just get stuck. But anyway, he's going to use his second attack here. You get Fire Shot, which does, 120 damage. Which is pretty much done half of my Pokemon's health, which can be a problem, but anyway. But now I use Gordy, which, well, if you look at the top 7... No, I don't use Gordy. What do I use? What do I use? I think I use Miracle Shot again. Yeah, I do, because he can't retreat unless he has a escape rope, which I don't think he does. So he can't retreat, and he also can't attack because he has no energy. So the Miracle Shot was a safe bet. I love this alternate art Arceus. It's amazing. And look, it looks so cool. It looks like it could be an old tapestry, you know, like something people would hang in museums with a lot of historical significance. It's so grandiose. What I'm trying to say is, and again, I can't really do anything, but I do use. Yeah, now I use Gordy, which lets me add any energy from the top 7 cards of my deck, which. Yeah, now when I get all the energy, my next card is going to be a Mimikyu V. No, because it shuffles the deck afterwards. I'm stupid. 21. Anyway, I use another Miracle Shot here. Another 60 damage, which is just under the HP. I was just 10 off. Which stings. But anyway, now this dude maxes out his Cinderace with Cinderace VMAX. 320 HP. Jesus Christ. But I finally get Sonia, which allows me to search for either 2 basic energies or 2 basic Pokemon, and since all Pokemon Vs are listed as basics, I can just get them from the deck right off the bat. And I got my Eternatus V and my Giratina V, and I believe I start powering up the Giratina first, or I power up the Giratina first. So when my Sylveon eventually goes down, I would have a backup. So now I knock out his Victini V, which allows me to get 2 prize cards, because again, Pokemon Vs give up 2 prize cards upon KO, and I get another Sonia, which allows me to search out 2 more of my Pokemon Vs, so I'll have almost all of them on the bench. Or out in play, I should say. And this artwork's so cute. Again, I love the artwork in with TCG right now. It's top-notch quality stuff. The only gripe I have is with any of the art is like the full arts, because it's just a CG render of the Pokemon on like a single color background. It looks kind of cheap to me, especially considering that it was supposed to be rare, like, you know. But anyway, I power up my Giratina once again, and I believe I get Mimikyu and Noivern. Yeah, I get Noivern. So, and this is pretty much my strategy. Just use Sonia, get all my Vs out on the bench, and use their abilities and attacks, and basically just power them up and, well, try to use their abilities and attacks. Like, Mimikyu V's here got Dummy Doll, which, if it's in the active, it cannot take damage for that turn, which can be pretty huge in slowing your opponent down. But yeah, this is what I basically do. I use Sonia to get the Pokemon Vs out, and I just power up and use them attacks. I usually power up Morphin V first, because it's the easiest one to power up. Just 1 Darkness, 1 Psychic. And of course I attach, what's it called, Super Scope or Sniping Scope to it, so it does 30 more damage to Pokemon Vs if I'm up against any, which I clearly am, so it would be a really good thing to do right now. If then I power up like Giratina V, because it's just got a really strong attack. And it also has an attack that lets you look up the top 4 cards of your deck. You pick 2 of them, put them in your hand, the other 2 get sent to the Lost Zone, which can be great for Lost Zone decks. Unfortunately, I'm not running any Lost Zone decks, so yeah. And of course, the last one I would power up would be Eternatus V, which has Dynamax Cannon, which does 120, which is a big deal. But it also does 80 more or 100 more damage to Pokemon V Maxes, which can be useful. And here you see me powering up Mimikyu V. That's because its attack puts free damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon for every prize card they take. So let's say when one of my cards gets knocked out, I could send Mimikyu V into active and use its attacks, and since they took 2 prize cards, that means they'll be doing 60 damage for one turn. Which, yeah, it's basically a snowball card. It gets more powerful as the game goes on. Of course, the possible amount of prize cards my opponent can take with his deck without me losing is 4. Which means it can do 120 damage. Again, this number just keeps popping up to the opponent. Yeah, and here I was kind of confused, and I realized that, yeah, this Arceus has a Cape of Toughness, which gives additional HP to these, about 30. Which, yeah, confused me at first and can really trick and can really mess with your opponent when it happens. But anyway, Masood sets up his another Victini V, and he sets up his Arceus here to do his most powerful attack, which takes out my Sylveon. So now he takes his 2 prize cards, and yeah, I send in Giratina because it can do big damage, and I just want this Arceus KO'd right now. I finally get my Victini onto the battlefield, but now I just start building up my Eternatus. Yeah, there we go, 160 damage. This attack is unaffected by the current condition of your active Pokemon, or I think it's the opponent's active Pokemon. So I KO him. I draw Hop, which is good because I get to draw more cards, which is really important, especially in this deck. And I get Marnie's Pride, which allows you to attach 1 energy from the discard pile to your bench, which can be really helpful, especially if you just really need that one specific energy for a specific card, like with dragon cards. So really helpful. What's going on here? I think this guy's setting up his Charizard right here, is Charizard V, so he can evolve it into a Charizard VMAX. So also he can use like Gmax Wildfire, which can do massive damage. Yeah, but he does massive damage anyway because he's got all this energy attached to the Charizard, which I believe does more damage the more energy it has. But yeah, I debate with myself a little bit here on which Pokemon I send out. I think I send out... I either send out Mimikyu V or Eternatus V. I send out Mimikyu, actually, yeah. To use its Jealous Eye attack, which will do big damage straight away, but again, this is a very, very low HP for Pokemon V. It only has 160. Which, yeah, I get K... Yeah, if it gets one... Yeah, it can easily get one shot by... It was Tactical Scope, there it is. You know, that's what it's called, Tactical Scope. It does 30 more damage to Pokemon Vs. But yeah, I'm also in risk of this card getting one shot, so I switch... So I use Escape Rope to switch out his Charizard so he doesn't one-shot me. And then he puts in his, I think he puts in... Yeah, he puts in his Cinderace VMAX. And then I put in yeah, my Noivern because he can retreat for free. Only problem is that, yeah, this is a smooth brain mood right here because I forgot I attached an energy per turn. Yeah, because I forgot that I attached an energy for this turn. So what I was going to do was retreat Noivern and then send out Eternatus V. Problem is, I attached an energy per turn, so I wouldn't attach the last energy to Eternatus V to take out his Cinderace, so yeah, that was a smooth brain move on my part. That was an accident. But yeah. I believe this Mimikyu does get one shot, unfortunately. Because Pokemon VMAXs are strong, that's the whole point. They are a chase card, and yeah, then this dude evolves his Charizard V into a Charizard VMAX, which, although I don't really care for Charizard, it does have a cool design. And he fully heals off my attack, so essentially I have done nothing. And I give him a surprise face because I wasn't expecting that. I do love cute little emotes. It's a shame that TCG Live doesn't have those. Which, speaking of which, yeah, I have migrated my account to TCG Live, which I'm not sure if it actually brought over my whole collection because I was looking through my cards and I couldn't see if most of them were my cards. It's also very jumbled because they give you starter packs and starter decks, and they let you use those cards to build your own deck. So I'm not sure if my cards are actually did migrate over, or if it is just that the starter decks have similar cards to the ones that I have, and I don't know, it's kind of frustrating. Because there are ways to know for sure, but I can't check those ways right now because the only way you can see your collection in TCG Live is if you go into the deck builder, which will block off certain cards if you're in like standard or if you're making a deck for standard or expanded, which I don't know how to toggle yet. That's really frustrating and stupid. I cannot believe a card game does not have a collection viewer. That is stupid, but anyway. Again, another smooth brain mood. I can't attach any energy to use Eternatus V right here. I would try to like use his other attack, but then yeah, but I misread the card and thinking that you would have to like move a dark energy from your hand to your bench, but no, it says you may, which means you have a choice if you do or do not. So I kind of don't do anything this turn, and that kind of ends this game for me because I get taken out. Because again, I can't do anything because I can't attach energy, and that is really annoying. So I kind of just lose here. I think this guy's... Yes, I'm not sure what this dude's doing because he can just one-shot me. Like his... Yeah, he's got the energy for Charizard VMAX's strongest attack, which does 300 damage. Which will pretty much KO anything that isn't a Pokemon VMAX. So I'm not sure why he's spending his time just twiddling his thumbs here, but yeah, here we go. VMAX Wildfire. Kaboom. Kablamo. And yeah, I lose the first game, but this deck is like really unorthodox, so I wasn't expecting to win much, but funny thing is, when I first made this deck, I was actually getting consistent wins with it. That was the funny thing to me. I made this really stupid deck. Oh, I'm sorry, we're in standard right now, not expanded. My bad. But I made this really stupid deck, and I wasn't expecting to win, but somehow when I first made it, I was getting wins consistently with it. And then, of course, one day I just wasn't winning any games with it at all. I guess that's what happens with stupid decks like these, but anyway, I flip a coin and I lose, and I hope my opponent lets me go second, because this deck really takes the advantage of going second, because again, you need those supporters to search out cards. Yeah, I give a frowny face because I need that advantage to make this deck roll faster. And of course, another disadvantage with this deck is that I mulligan a lot. You can mulligan a lot with this deck, which is a problem. A bit of a problem, but I think I mulligan 3 times in this game, because no, only once, but yeah, if you mulligan multiple times, you don't see that play out. You just skip to the hand you get, where you get a basic Pokemon. So it may look like you only have 1 mulligan, but you end up having like 3 or 4 or even 5 at one point. This deck is wackio, but anyway. I start off with Noivern V here, which is great because, which is kind of good early game, because again, its attack can do 20 to all Pokemon, even on the bench, which can really send you into tizzy with the early game. And this dude didn't seem to be able to do anything. I play my Sonia here, and as you see, my Eternatus is prized, which again is another disadvantage to this deck. Although there are 6 of them, and you can never start a game without a basic Pokemon, they can all realistically be prized at one point in one game, which I think did happen to me one time, where I looked through my deck and I couldn't, where I used, what was it? I think it was Sonia, and I looked through my deck and I couldn't really find any cards. I think I only had 2 of my Pokemon available, which was absolutely bonkers. But anyway, I power up my Noivern here to use, what was it called? Boom Blast, I think it's called. Which does 60 plus damage, does 124 if you have the same number in your hand as your opponent. And again, the dragon animations are so cool. You got fucking deep scratches, and then the strong attack is 2 deep scratches and a huge bite. It's really, really cool. I wish Pokemon TCG Live had those sort of animations. They have like really lame ball effect animations. Like, as you saw in like earlier, when my opponent used a strong fire attack, like a geyser of fire just erupted from the ground. But in TCG Live, you just get a small blast of fire. Even if it's a stronger attack, you get a bigger blast of fire, but it only lasts for like about a second. And it's like really underwhelming because, again, TCG Online has these really cool elaborate animations. Like even the fairy type animation has like a beautiful plant bloom out of a card when you hit it, and that's amazing. But in TCG Live, it's just sparkles. Or just sparkles. Also, the game is poorly optimized. Like it was I played it this afternoon, and it was not only an absolute killer on the battery, my iPad was flat out heating up because of it. Which going in I knew was a complaint that the app overheats your phones and devices. But I wasn't expecting it to get like that toasty. Like it was really surprising to me, so I don't think I'll be playing many games on live. So anyway, this guy bossed my Giratina, which boss's orders lets you pick a card from your opponent's bench and put in the active, which I'm still surprised Boss's Orders is legal, because again, that came out the first set in Sword and Shield, and it just kept getting reprints in other sets using different villains from the Pokemon franchise, and it just kept on going throughout the whole Sword and Shield era, to the point where it's still legal in the Scarlet and Violet format. But anyway, I use Abyss Seek in here, which lets me look up the cards, the top 4 cards of my deck. I grab my Marnie, I grab Tactical Scope, there we go. And the other 2 go into the Lost Zone, which I will give Pokemon Live this. It does have the better Lost Zone animation. Like, here they just put the cards on the side like we do in the actual real game, but in Pokemon TCG Live, they actually swirl down into a vortex, into a bubble of another dimension, and that's actually a really cool animation. So Live does have that one small thing going for it. I almost have all of my Vs out. It would have been so cool, but oh well. Now here I use Dream Gift to get an item card out, and I get out, what was it, Potion, which lets me heal 30 HP just in case, you know. And the reason why I'm holding off my Mimikyu V right there is because its ability only activates once per turn, and again, it only works on it, so yeah, so I'm not really in the rush to play right now. Anyway, I take damage, I heal, no biggie. I got another heal potion, so I heal 2/3 of the damage he did to me. And that's a Dark Energy. Now I set up a Mimikyu, which, yeah, not really that useful. But I know it's not really that useful, but again, it doesn't hurt to try. But sorry about this abrupt cut, but I am recording this like midnight, because this was pretty much, I am recording this like midnight because I was supposed to do this like early afternoon, but they didn't pan out like that, so yeah, I gotta whisper now, I'm sorry. But yeah, I use a copycat card so I can make my hand the same number as his, so I can use Boom Blast to do massive damage to his Charizard V. But of course, as you saw there, he took me down now, and now I've lost my friend V. I hope you like this. Here's some more action. Now I sent out Victini V, which you can see me working out the math here, thinking if it does enough damage to KO this Charizard V, which it does. And since this dude has no other Pokemon in play, I win by default. And then I get my Eternatus V. It was like a unique little game. I don't think that this... Wait, was this the end here? I'm not sure. I think it was, yeah. Yeah, because I played the game off screen that day just to get the Darkrai V, so yeah, I believe that was game. And yeah, I completed my one and only mission in Pokemon TCG Live.